everybody, and welcome back to my channel for this Tuesday morning, afternoon or evening across the world we may be at. And I just come across this BBC article about the Reform leader Richard Tice, and the headline reads, "Send system hijacked by parents." This makes me really angry as a autistic woman, as someone who is in the special educational needs and disability community, someone who's in the disability community, the autistic community, the mental health community, and I want to give my thoughts as an autistic woman, so I'm going to read what it says. It says, article was uploaded by Charlotte Wright, who is the BBC South East political editor, so I have to give credit to the author who uploaded this article. And this is what I've said. According to Richard Tice, the SEND system is being hijacked by parents who are abusing the system. Richard Tice has said that children who are receiving SEND don't need it and using it as a way to abuse the system. I'm sorry, but hold on a minute. You are a politician. You are not someone who has lived experience. You're not someone who has SEND children or SEND adults, or you've not interacted with SEND children or SEND adults that are in education or need this transport to get to school and get home. You clearly are not talking to SEND parents or SEND family members or people who are in the SEND community. And this makes me really angry as an autistic woman. You clearly are making these judgments out of nowhere. You clearly have no medical training, no medical knowledge on this arena, and shouldn't be speaking on it. I think you're absolutely outrageous. I think it's vile that you are attacking parents of SEND children, SEND adults, children who are in that environment waiting for the right help and support in either a specialist school or mainstream school with special educational needs or disabilities. And when Reform were asked how they would change it, he says to cut waste and take away from people who are abusing the system. I'm sorry, but people who are clearly not abusing the system, you shouldn't be saying this kind of stuff. Again, you don't know what you're talking about. Clearly, you are a politician. And according to the National Audit Office, educational health and care plans, which is ECHPs, have increased by 140%. Yes, 140% between 2015 and last year. So that's a massive jump increase in demand for educational health care and plans for children who need them, and potentially adults who need them as well. My thoughts as an autistic adult is that I feel Mr. Tice is completely out of touch. He doesn't understand the reality, the everyday struggles of SEND families or SEND students who are needing these educational health and care plans to successfully gain the right support and care in their environment, whether it's a specialist school, mainstream school, or otherwise, or homeschooling. I think it's completely unacceptable that he has jumped to these comments when he has no lived experience. He has no background in special educational needs, disabilities whatsoever. He clearly hasn't interacted with the community at all, or even bothered to get acknowledged to the community. He's clearly not done his research before making these comments either, and it's just outrageous. It's disgusting. It's vile. I feel that he's just really made these figures out of nowhere. He needs to get involved within the SEND community. He needs to have first-hand knowledge of what it's like to get help and support in the SEND community, because let's face it, the SEND community, the special educational needs and disabilities government is broken. It is not fit for purpose. It doesn't work. It's not fit for functioning. It needs to be completely revamped, re-scrapped, and then started again. And for people like me who are autistic and rely on the SEND community and rely on getting help from professionals, it clearly is not working. It clearly needs to be rethought, re-energised, and having people with this experience put at the forefront, rather than just some professionals who think they know best for us, who think they know better than us when they clearly don't. And Mr. Tice's comments are not helping the situation. They are actually aggravating the situation and making parents very unhappy. And they're the ones that have to live through this every day with their special educational needs children, kids and young adults, and young people who are struggling to get access to special educational needs schools or mainstream school supports or the right mental health people to get involved with them. As an autistic woman, he clearly has no knowledge of what it's like to be disabled or using the disability community or being part of the special educational needs disability community. Clearly has no background whatsoever. And he clearly knows that the government is not functioning for people, and we are clearly not getting the right supports and things that we need to help us successfully function and be part of society every day. As an autistic woman, I constantly have to battle people like this who say, oh, you're abusing the system, you're taking in the mick. You know, you don't really need this help, you don't really need this transport, you don't really need to be travelling in taxis, or, you know, you don't really need to be having people picking you up and taking you places. Yes, we do, because it's part of our special educational needs plan. It's part of our everyday functioning plan. It's part of our routine. Like, I have a lot of people take me to places in taxis. I rely on local taxi drivers, my dad. Like, people with special educational needs or disabilities, we need this to successfully function. We need this to be part of everyday society, so we're not looked at as weird or odd. And we want to be independent just like any other child, any other adult who wants to get around and do their everyday routine such as we do. And for him to make comments saying that, we don't really need this, we don't really need that. How the fuck do you know? How the fuck do you know what it's like to be disabled? You don't. You're a politician. You have no lived experience of what it's like to be disabled. You don't know what it's like to have to be constantly putting up your barriers and fighting every day and speaking up for yourself, defending children, defending adults who need the right help, because the system is continually failing them. The system is broken. It continually fails people. And to say, oh, we don't really need this, or we don't really need that, or that we're abusing the system, we're not abusing the system. The system is actually abusing us by failing us and letting us down and making us struggle. And for you just to sit there and make your selfish comments is just completely outrageous. And, you know, we are disabled. We're not stupid. We're people who are lived experience. We're people who live it every day. We're the people who have to constantly fight the government. We are people who have to constantly seek the right supports and the right comforts and the right people and the right schooling, whether that's mainstream, private, specialist, college, sixth form, work. You know, we are people who are going to constantly need help from people in the special educational needs department and, you know, disability community, because we are people who have to live this every day. It's a constant lived reality for us. We're the ones that constantly struggle and get looked down on and talked down to and judged and criticised, and people like you just are not helping the discussion. You should be sitting with us and talking to us and actually trying to help us, not being against us. People like you are just making this everyday fight even harder because you're not supporting us. You're being against us. You're making it 10 times harder than it actually has to be. And being a politician, aren't you meant to be serving the people? You're meant to be working for us. You're not meant to be working against us. Surely it's about time that politicians like you actually took an interest in what we need and how to support us, rather than saying we're abusing the system, we're taking the mick out of the system, we're financially abusing the system. We're not. That money that we get from the system is for our everyday successful function. It's to help get taxis, it's to help get food, it's to help get the right supports, whether that's fidget toys or specialist fidget aids or specialist clothing or blankets, or, you know, things that we need to make our lives just that little bit more better and that little bit more independent. And your comments are just completely selfish. They're outrageous. They're wrong. They're completely inaccurate. And you should apologise. You should apologise to the special educational needs and disability community. You should be ashamed of yourself, Richard Tice and the Reform Party. You are disgusting. You say that you're for people with disabilities. You're clearly not. And it's not the first time that the Reform have made mistakes and said things against people with SEND or disabilities. I know Nigel Farage recently made comments saying that people with disabilities are mentally ill. What the actual hell? I'm sorry. What? Like, Reform, you are clearly completely out of touch. You're completely out of touch with reality and how we see things, how we do things. And I will include the BBC article down below in the video description. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.